I've always been curious about what corpse drivers were. When ancient soldiers died in battle, their comrades could not bear to leave them stranded in a foreign land, so they carried the bodies back home. This was the origin of the corpse driving custom. However, carrying bodies one by one was not only exhausting, but also highly inefficient on rugged mountain paths. Later, people devised a stretcher-like apparatus. Bamboo poles were threaded under the armpits of the corpses, and the arms were tied securely with ropes. Two corpse drivers, one at the front and one at the rear, would carry the setup, allowing multiple bodies to be transported at once. As demand grew, corpse driving evolved into a professionalized process. At the front of the procession walked a lantern bearer to light the way and ward off wild animals, followed by a guide who sounded a gong to clear the path. On both sides, floating corpse bearers were responsible for carrying the bodies. If the journey was long, special herbal solutions were applied to delay decay. It wasn't until the 20th century, with improvements in transportation, that this profession gradually disappeared. In certain ancient regions, once elders turned 60 whether healthy or not, their children would move them into narrow cave dwellings. These caves were often built on steep cliffs. For the first 3 days, the children delivered meals through a small opening, but the frequency decreased from 3 meals a day to just 1. After each delivery, bricks were added to gradually seal the opening, until it was completely closed. With air and food cut off, the elderly would pass away quietly from hunger and cold. This practice, known as elder abandonment, arose in times of scarce farmland and food shortages, when the elderly who could no longer work were often viewed as a burden on the family. By the late 19th century, some people chose a distinctive form of burial. A glass window was installed above the grave, allowing relatives to view the deceased's face in remembrance. This design stemmed from a deep-seated fear of being mistakenly buried alive. Although modern medicine has made such errors rare, they occurred occasionally in that era. To address this, the buried person would hold a rope in their hand, connected to a bell above the grave. If someone woke after being wrongly buried, they could ring the bell to call for help. Yet as time passed, these lifelong worries, like the weeds atop the graves, were buried in the wild soil and faded into silence.